When Miles and I were getting our marriage license, just as we were about to take the final photo, he was called away by a phone call. He left me alone at the marriage registration office, stuck between a rock and a hard place. I called him, no answer. I texted him, no reply. In the end, I had to call his ex-girlfriend's number, and it was Miles who picked up. "Serena, can you stop being so annoying? Chloe sprained her ankle, and I need to take care of her today. Stop calling and waking Chloe up while she's resting. Let's just reschedule our marriage registration date again." I lightly bit my lower lip and murmured to him, "Counting this time, we've already rescheduled 7 times. So what? It's not like I'm going to disappear." I said expressionlessly, though my heart felt like it was being torn apart. The staff member asked me sympathetically if I still wanted to proceed. I nodded lightly. "Yes, we'll proceed." I called my best friend's brother and agreed to his request. After hanging up, I asked the staff to delay things for me for a while. While I was still lost in thought, Ryan arrived. He rode in on a flashy motorcycle, and the moment he took off his helmet and walked in, he immediately drew the attention of many people in the marriage registration office. Ryan walked right up to me, sat down on the chair beside me, crossed his legs, and said with a playful grin, "Changed your mind? Agreeing to this fake marriage to deal with my family's nonsense?" I gave a slight nod. Truthfully, it wasn't just about handling the family pressure to marry. This time, the most important thing was giving Grandpa peace of mind before he passes. His health had been deteriorating rapidly for the past 6 months. Every day in the hospital, he'd ask me when I was getting married the moment he saw me. He wanted to see me in a wedding dress. Wanted to witness me walking down the aisle. He said that way, even after he's gone, there'd still be someone to cherish me. That's why I'd been pushing Miles to marry me for the past 6 months. We'd started the process 7 times, but each attempt ended in failure for one reason or another. Last time, Chloe had her period and was in unbearable pain, so he had to go back to buy her painkillers. The time before that, Chloe lost her keys and couldn't get home, so he had to go open the door for her. And the time before that, Chloe was hungry and wanted cake from the city center, so he rushed off to queue for it. All 7 times, every single one was because of Chloe, and every single time, Miles would drop everything to abandon me. The irony is, I gave him 7 chances. Yet he couldn't even spare me the time for one last photo. Truthfully, this time, I wasn't too upset about Miles leaving. Maybe I'd already grown used to it, or maybe I'd seen it coming. But just now, Grandpa's words from a while ago suddenly flashed through my mind. "Serena, I'm afraid I don't have much longer to live. I might not get to see our Serena in a wedding dress. But even if you end up alone, you must live bravely and never let anyone bully you." I promised Grandpa I would be brave. So this time I won't keep compromising. "Miles, I gave you chances, 7 of them." Everything went smoothly with Ryan until the marriage registration process. Just as we were about to take our wedding photo, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Miles. "Come on, Serena, don't be mad. I really couldn't get away this time, but I've made your favorite dish at home. Waiting for you." Ryan glanced at me and asked casually, "Shall we continue?" I took a deep breath and said expressionlessly, "Continue." After completing the marriage procedures, we walked out holding our marriage certificates. Before leaving, I turned to Ryan and said, "Are you free tomorrow? There's something I'd like you to accompany me to." Ryan swung his long legs and straddled the motorcycle in one fluid motion. "Call me if anything comes up. Who knows, in a couple days I might need you to help me deal with my parents too." With that, he rode off. I couldn't help feeling how unpredictable life was. My 7-year relationship with Miles, 4 years in college and 3 after graduation, had ultimately failed to last. Yet here I was, married to my best friend's brother after just 1 meeting. On the way back, Miles sent me another message along with a photo. The dining table was densely packed with delicious dishes. "Why aren't you back yet? The food is ready. If you're late, there won't be any left." He truly meant what he said. He had just messaged me that the food would be gone if I was late. Sure enough, by the time I got home, the dining table was already a mess, with all the food completely devoured. Chloe, sitting nearby, put on an innocent face and pitifully said to me, "I'm really sorry, Serena. I was just too hungry, so I couldn't help but eat first." Even if I were the slowest to react, I could tell she was deliberately provoking me. At that moment, I felt my blood boil, my hands clenched into fists, my sharp nails digging deep into my palms. Chloe and Miles were childhood sweethearts. So in Miles' eyes, she was always the top priority. Actually, from the very beginning, our relationship, getting to know each other, falling in love, had progressed smoothly. We rarely argued. And even when we did, Miles was always the first to apologize and comfort me. No matter whose fault it was, he would immediately take all the blame. Even my best friend envied me more than once for finding a man like Miles who doted on me so much. But that envy came to an end 6 months ago. Ever since Chloe reappeared, his affection had changed completely. "Serena, why are you only coming back now? Didn't I remind you early enough?" Miles walked out of the kitchen and frowned when he saw me. In his mind, whenever he sent me a message, I would rush back desperately. "Something came up on the way, so I'm back late." "What could be so important that you'd miss dinner?" His tone was flat, yet carried a hint of accusation. I hadn't planned to mention anything about marriage to him. Since I'd already decided to leave, from now on Miles was just a stranger in my eyes. The only reason I came back this time was mainly for my belongings at home. Nothing much, the company asked me to go on a business trip, I came back to pack. Without waiting for Miles to react, I walked straight toward the bedroom. But the moment I opened the bedroom door, I was stunned by the scene before me. The neatly made bed I'd left behind was now in disarray, and the wardrobe had been rummaged through haphazardly. None of that would have bothered me much. But the handcrafted skyscraper model Grandpa had given me, the one painstakingly assembled piece by piece, lay snapped in half on the nightstand. Glittering fragments were scattered across the floor. I couldn't hold back anymore and immediately called out Miles' name. "Who's been in this bedroom? Who broke my things?" Miles walked in, his brow furrowing at first before quickly smoothing over. He spoke in a tone dripping with indifference. "It's just some handmade trinket. I'll have someone restore it for you later." I froze for a moment. That indifferent tone sounded exactly like saying I meant nothing to him. And because of this statement, I knew it must have been Chloe who broke the item. Only she deserved such reckless protection from Miles. It was Chloe who broke it, wasn't it? My calm statement seemed to ignite Miles like a powder keg. He immediately furrowed his brows and confronted me. "Do you have proof that Chloe broke it? Maybe it wasn't installed properly and fell on its own." "Serena, don't just open your mouth and accuse others. If you're going to blame Chloe, at least provide evidence, or I'll sue you for defamation." I nearly bit through my cheek. The strong metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. He really knew how to defend her. With just one sentence from me, I was already facing defamation charges. But Miles wasn't like this half a year ago. The day I truly fell in love with him was on a rainy night. I got into a car accident, and he sprinted to the scene without even grabbing an umbrella. That day, this man who had always been proper and restrained shed all his inhibitions, shouting on the roadside and even throwing punches at the driver who hit my car. But why has he changed now? I didn't keep making a scene. Just as Miles said, I had no proof at all that Chloe was the one who broke it. All I could do was carefully crouch and pick up the shattered pieces, gathering the 2 fallen skyscrapers as well. Just then, Chloe's pitiful voice came from outside the door. She limped in. "Miles, don't fight with Serena. Even though I didn't do it, if Serena wants to blame me, then blame me. No one's ever liked me since I was little, it's only natural Serena doesn't like me either." As she spoke, she deliberately took a few steps and crouched in front of me. She stepped on one of the fragments and twisted her foot forcefully. Then, in a voice so low it was almost inaudible, she said, "I did it." "So what? Rage instantly surged through me, and I pushed Chloe away without hesitation. But before I could even touch her, she conveniently collapsed to the floor. Her foot, wrapped in white gauze, even managed to hit the bedside table with pinpoint accuracy. The next second, Chloe's tearful voice rang out. "Serena, I just wanted to help you." Before I could react, Miles grabbed me by my long hair. I had never seen him like this before, his face twisted in fury, eyes sharp with hatred, as if he wanted to kill me. "Even if you don't like Chloe, there's no need to hurt her like this. And she's still a patient." With my hair still in Miles' grip, I had no choice but to tilt my head back and glare at them. A bitter taste spread across my tongue, my heart riddled with wounds. I didn't even touch her. Miles's slap landed directly on my face. A red handprint instantly appeared on my cheek. "Still lying at this point? Serena, do you think I'm blind? I was right behind you, I saw everything with my own eyes. First, you framed Chloe, and now you pushed her down. I never knew you could be such a vicious woman, utterly wicked." My breath caught, and I found myself unable to utter a word in defense. In this situation, no matter what I said, Miles wouldn't believe me anyway. He released me, glaring down coldly. "No excuses left, huh? Serena, you're truly a venomous woman." Miles looked at me with disappointment. Yet I felt as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. If there had been any lingering hope for him before, it had now finally settled into calm. I no longer defended myself, nor struggled to explain. Chloe, held in Miles' arms, shot me a smug glance and mouthed a sentence at me. But I understood it clearly. "How dare you think you can compete with me for Miles? If you like him, then have him." Since Chloe had just bumped her injured ankle, Miles nervously carried her off to the hospital. I staggered to my feet. The full-length mirror in front of me reflected my burning red cheeks, the slap mark still clearly visible. It was easy to imagine how furious Miles had been and how much force he had used. I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh, wiping away the blood slowly seeping from the corner of my mouth. That slap had shattered every last illusion I once held. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I gathered all the clothes in the house and packed them into a suitcase. Everything that could be taken was taken, and what couldn't was thrown into the trash. Before leaving, I found an agency and listed the house online. This house was mine, bought for me by my grandfather using his pension. It was originally meant to be my marital home. Now, it seems there's no need to keep it. Things that have been dirted disgust me. I pushed my suitcase to a hotel and stayed there for the night. From then on, I planned to spend the remaining days by my grandfather's side. Early in the morning, I called Ryan. He seemed to still be in bed, his voice groggy. It wasn't until I pressed him several times and even called my best friend to keep an eye on him that the man finally got up. When we went to the hospital, Ryan and I had prepared a script to handle Grandpa's questions in advance. Since I had previously introduced Miles to Grandpa, and he knew Miles was my fiancé, I didn't want to worry him. So, I planned to have Ryan play along without revealing his true identity. But I never expected him to hit it off so well with Grandpa. They chatted about everything, from the hardships of their generation to modern artificial intelligence. By the time we were leaving, Grandpa was still reluctant to let him go. Holding my hand, he gently patted the back of it. "Serena, this one's good. Much more reliable than Miles." I felt awkward, not wanting Grandpa to know I'd just married someone on a whim. So, I had no choice but to insist, "Grandpa, you must be mistaken. He is Miles." "You think your grandpa's gone senile?" "I can still tell if someone's alone or not. I just don't know if I'll live long enough to see your wedding banquet." I quickly pulled out our marriage certificate and handed it to Grandpa. "Don't worry, Grandpa. We're already married. The wedding banquet is being planned, you'll definitely make it." Unexpectedly, Grandpa opened the marriage certificate and scrutinized it repeatedly with a magnifying glass. Finally, he nodded in satisfaction. "I knew it. Not that Miles fellow, it's Ryan, right? Good name." I shot Grandpa an exasperated look before leaving the ward. Ryan was waiting for me in the hallway, seemingly in the middle of an argument. As I got closer, I realized it was with Miles and Chloe. I had no idea what had started it. It was just one sentence from Miles that tightened my throat, leaving me breathless for a long moment. What did my girlfriend do wrong? I apologize on her behalf, but how shameless can you be as a man, bullying a woman like this? In his heart, Chloe was his girlfriend. Then what was I? A substitute? If you've done something wrong, you should admit it. If everyone were like you, what would we need laws for? Does being a woman give you the right to do wrong? Miles and Chloe were left speechless by the retort. Just as I appeared, Miles saw me. A flicker of panic and unease suddenly surfaced in his eyes. But she quickly suppressed it, pretending nothing was wrong as she rushed forward to grab me and spoke first. Serena, you came at the perfect time. Just now, Chloe accidentally spilled coffee all over him, and he actually claimed this outfit is worth over $10,000. Don't you think that's extortion? Don't you have a lawyer best friend? Let's sue him for fraud. Chloe nodded righteously, showing no sign of remorse. Exactly. Sue him for fraud and make him pay us compensation for emotional distress too. Ryan looked at me with a smile, and I couldn't help but blush. Your friends? I immediately shook my head. Not anymore. Before Miles could process it, I added, his outfit really is worth over $10,000, and the lawyer you mentioned is his sister. With that, I quickly left the hospital, not wanting to engage in any further conversation with Miles. As for how they would negotiate, it had nothing to do with me. In the days that followed, Ryan was busy arranging our wedding banquet. I had originally planned to just casually wear a wedding dress and show it to Grandpa before calling it a day. But Ryan insisted that such simplicity wouldn't match his presents and wanted to make it a grander affair. I knew these wealthy families had many demands, and since I couldn't persuade him otherwise, I had no choice but to compromise. Meanwhile, Miles kept asking me every day when I'd be back from my business trip. Perhaps he sensed that I was contacting him less and less. For the first time, he mentioned setting a date for us to register our marriage. Unfortunately, I no longer needed it. Each time, I made excuses about being busy with work and hung up the phone. The wedding day arrived swiftly. Dressed in my wedding gown, I appeared at the banquet venue. Then, a familiar voice called out from behind me, filled with surprise and a hint of panic. Serena, weren't you on a business trip? Why are you here in a wedding dress? Ryan walked over to me. Isn't that the man from the hospital the other day? Should we go down and have a chat? I gave him a faint glance. Knowing this man's perceptiveness, he had long since figured out the relationship between Miles and me. If you're here to watch a show today, you can have your entertainment now. Miles rushed up to me in a flash, pointing at me indignantly, his voice roaring with anger. Serena, I know it's you. Stop pretending not to know me. What's the meaning of this? Being my girlfriend on one hand, then acting like a stranger and marrying another man? Did you ever really consider me your boyfriend? I looked at him calmly. If this had happened before, I probably would have torn off this wedding dress and thrown myself into his arms. But now, I was frighteningly composed. Miles, how dare you have the nerve to say such things? I gave you 7 chances. If you had seized just one of them, would I be marrying another man today? Every time it was the day for us to register our marriage, you went off to be with your little girlfriend. So now I'm letting you have your way. Since you didn't want to marry me, you can spend every day and night with her from now on. And it's not that I'm pretending not to know you, I simply don't want to know you anymore. The moment I see Miles, I'm reminded of those 7 absurd years I wasted. I spent 7 years by his side, only for him to refuse to spare even a single moment for me in the end. Miles tried to say something more, but the security Ryan called dragged him out. He kept shouting my name and babbling nonsense about how he was willing to marry me now. Ryan clicked his tongue. Didn't expect you to be so fierce, those rapid-fire comebacks left your ex completely speechless. I shot him a cold glance. How irritating that someone would still associate me with Miles. With no more interruptions, Ryan and I resumed our wedding ceremony. Grandpa couldn't attend due to his health, but my best friend set up a high-definition video call so he could witness every moment of my wedding. Yet his condition was visibly deteriorating. Before the ceremony even properly concluded, I rushed to the hospital in my wedding dress. The call had just come, Grandpa might not make it. The only thing keeping him alive this long was his determination to see me married. Now that Grandpa's final wish has been fulfilled, his breathing grows weaker by the minute. I rushed all the way here, only to be stopped by Miles just as I reached the hospital entrance. His eyes red, he grabbed my wrist. "Serena, you can't marry that man, he's clearly no good. I'm the only one who truly loves you. After all these years together, can't you see that? Let go. I have urgent matters now, we'll talk about us later." Though I struggled fiercely to shake him off, Miles kept seizing me with his other hand, repeating the same pleas for forgiveness. Fortunately, Ryan arrived just in time to restrain him for me. My best friend pressed the elevator button for me, and we rode up to the 3rd floor. But I was still a step too late. Grandpa was already covered with a white sheet, no longer breathing. The doctor shook his head at me. "Family member, you arrived too late. But your grandfather was very happy before passing. As doctors, we rarely see patients like your grandpa who depart with a smile. So I didn't get to see Grandpa one last time." I numbly touched his already cold hand. My best friend held me tightly, whispering comfort. "Serena, don't be sad. You fulfilled Grandpa's final wish, and the doctor said he left this world happily." I wiped away the tears that kept welling up in the corners of my eyes, reached out, and gently touched Grandpa's face through the white cloth. Yes, Grandpa must be very happy. At Grandpa's funeral. It was drizzling that day. My best friend held an umbrella for me and stayed by my side. Ryan was arranging for Grandpa's ashes to be buried. "Serena, don't be sad anymore. I don't think Grandpa would want to see you so heartbroken. He got to see your wedding before he passed, so he must have been very happy." I nodded. Grandpa should be happy. He left without any regrets. Even the husband I found at the last minute, Grandpa was very pleased with him. Thinking this, I looked up at Ryan, who was sprinkling the final handful of soil in the light rain. It would be impossible not to be moved. Thanks to the two of them, they were able to be with me at the very last moment. "Ryan, thank you for helping me fulfill Grandpa's last wish. We can go through the divorce procedures tomorrow." Ryan shook off a few raindrops from his hair and said casually, "What's the hurry? Your matter is settled, but mine isn't. Let's keep it this way for now. I'll contact you in a few days." With that, he walked away. I looked at my best friend in surprise. Her eyes seemed to be avoiding something as she quickly changed the subject. "My brother's been pressured to get married but couldn't find anyone. Serena, just help him out by dealing with my parents for now." Something felt off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Still, Ryan had helped me after all, it wouldn't be right to burn bridges now. Descending from the hillside cemetery. Miles was waiting for me at the foot of the mountain. He held a bouquet of chrysanthemums in his hands, his hair disheveled, clearly unkempt for some time. "Serena, where is Grandpa buried? I should pay my respects to him too." Though I had no desire to speak with him, since it concerned Grandpa, I could only politely decline. "Thank you, Mr. Miles, but that won't be necessary. Given your relationship with Grandpa, paying respects isn't required." Miles suddenly burst into tears, his bloodshot eyes rimmed with red. He apologized to me, saying he hadn't known about Grandpa's condition that day. He had only loved me too deeply, wanted to win me back, which was why he had stopped me in the hospital lobby. "Serena, forgive me. This time we'll definitely get married. Grandpa's spirit in heaven will surely bless us. Look, I accompanied you to see Grandpa several times before, he liked me too. Now that Grandpa is gone, I'll be the one to protect you. I don't know when he developed such thick skin. The Miles I used to know wasn't exactly proud, but he did have his dignity. Now he mostly just disgusts me. Just as I was about to speak, a black car pulled up beside us. Ryan pushed the door open and got out, immediately pulling me into his arms. My wife doesn't need you to protect her. Besides, Grandpa doesn't like you, he likes me. He acted exactly like someone jealous, eager to assert his dominance. Miles' face twisted with anger. His eyes were fixed fiercely on the hand Ryan had around me. Serena, these rich people are just playing around. Don't let him fool you. Putting on an expression of utmost sincerity, he continued, I'm different. We've been together for 7 years, weathered so many storms. No one could ever replace you in my heart. No matter what you become, I'll always love you the most. His words only made me feel more disgusted. The memory of him grabbing my hair without hesitation that day made my scalp tingle with pain. I sneered at him. So loving me means hurting me without hesitation? Loving me means slapping me hard? Miles, your love is terrifying, I don't want it anymore. My sarcastic remark made Miles' expression darken. The things he had done slowly resurfaced in his mind. He instinctively took 2 steps back, nearly stumbling and falling to the ground. I couldn't help but find it amusing. Did he have selective amnesia? Did he really need me to remind him of his own actions? How else could he dare to spout such shameless words? Let me make this final notice, I'm putting that house up for sale. You and Chloe need to move out as soon as possible, or I'll call the police. Miles froze for a long moment before staring at me in disbelief. You're selling the house? I won't allow it. That's our marital home, where am I supposed to live if you sell it? Where you live is none of my concern. To me, you're just a stranger now. I hope you can show some self-awareness and move out sooner rather than later, so we don't have to involve the police and make this ugly. Without another word to Miles, I got into Ryan's car and drove off. Miles chased after the vehicle, howling in frustration. Serena, we can still get married, you can't just kick me out. The man driving had a terrible expression the whole way. I didn't know what he was angry about either. After so many exhausting days, I leaned against the car window and fell straight asleep. When I woke up, I found myself in a small apartment. Since Miles and Chloe were living in that house, and I couldn't stay in a hotel forever, my best friend had arranged for me to stay in Ryan's apartment. All my belongings had been moved here too. My best friend was sitting on the sofa not far from me, angrily pounding on her laptop keyboard, though I couldn't tell what she was replying to. Luna, what are you doing? My voice startled her. She quickly closed the laptop and said, nothing. Just watching a show online and leaving comments. I gave her a suspicious glance but didn't pay much attention. However, in the following days, I began noticing something strange. Every time I went out, many people would point fingers at me and whisper among themselves. Later at work, my supervisor called me in for a talk, subtly hinting at something. After leaving the office, I searched online and finally understood the whole story. Someone had been smearing my reputation online. I immediately recognized the account as Miles at first glance. The profile picture showed a figure in an expensive suit without revealing the face, but that suit was the birthday gift I had bought for Miles. I could roughly guess the origin of this mess. Probably Miles, unwilling to accept being kicked out, chose to create drama online, portraying himself as the victim. He claimed I was a gold digger who abandoned our 7-year relationship for a wealthy family's financial allure. Not only did I allegedly dump him to marry into money, but also seized the marital home he bought for me and was now trying to evict him. Soon, a mob of online vigilantes emerged to cyberbully me. On the way home, many people recognized me and started gossiping. Isn't that the woman who dumped her boyfriend of 7 years just like that? What a cold heart. Of course it's better to marry a rich man, love can only satisfy the soul, not material needs. If it were me, I'd choose the rich man too. Gold digger, she's the perfect example of a gold digger. Women like her are ruining social morals. Suddenly, a black cashmere coat was draped over my shoulders. Ryan's stern face looked even more chillingly cold. He unapologetically snapped at the gossiping crowd. What business is it of yours? Slander is illegal. Say one more word, and I'll have my lawyer send you a legal notice. The murmuring crowd immediately scattered. Under Ryan's protection, I returned to the apartment. Before even entering, I could hear my best friend Luna cursing while furiously typing on her keyboard. These keyboard warriors, so tough online, why don't they dare face me one-on-one in real life? Until she saw me return. Only then did my best friend close her laptop, pretending as if nothing had happened. I found it somewhat amusing but also touching. Stop pretending, I already know everything. What? You know everything? My best friend froze for a moment before tightly hugging me and starting to comfort me. It must be Miles playing tricks, just jealous that you married my brother. Now he wants to ruin you. Truthfully, I wasn't as fragile as she imagined, but my heart felt warm. Although I knew Miles was behind this, I didn't know where to start resolving it. After explaining just one sentence online, thousands of people began commenting and cyberbullying. Later, the company suspended my position, giving me a week to handle and calm the situation. Miles' call came right after. Serena, you must regret it now. As long as you come back to me, we can live happily together just like before. I won't mind that you've been married. Just come back, and I'll immediately post online declaring that you've realized your mistake and changed your mind. I was so disgusted that goosebumps broke out all over my body. But I mind that you're a scumbag. I gave you 7 chances to marry me, and you were the one who didn't cherish them. Since you prefer being with your little girlfriend, I'm letting you have your way. Miles, just wait to be kicked out of the house by me. After hanging up, the online situation escalated further. This phone call was edited and posted online with parts cut out. I immediately uploaded the full recording in response. Soon, public opinion began to polarize, some supported me, while others stood by Miles. During this time, Miles angrily messaged me, furious that I had recorded the call. I wasn't stupid, I knew his call wouldn't have good intentions. But what I never expected was that Ryan would directly intervene for me. Miles had deliberately avoided mentioning Ryan's name, afraid that involving him might lead to unforeseen consequences. He directly posted 10 photos online. From my high school days to this year's final wedding photo. A decade of unrequited love, finally fulfilled. Then he made public the matter of me being stood up by Miles 7 times when trying to register our marriage, even going so far as to find surveillance footage from all 7 marriage registration attempts. Each time, Miles heartlessly left me alone at the marriage registration office. Public opinion online instantly flipped. What kind of bizarre man is this? The woman gave him 7 chances to register their marriage, and he was the one who ran away. If it were me, forget 7 times, I'd say goodbye after the first time. The woman is practically my ideal partner, so devoted, what a shame she met such a scumbag. Soon, someone also exposed footage from that time at the hospital when Miles openly introduced Chloe as his girlfriend while holding her. Before the next day arrived, Miles' social media platforms were flooded with nothing but scathing comments calling him a scumbag. On the evening when everything was resolved, I invited my best friend and Ryan over for dinner at my apartment. When I asked how the 10 photos from the past decade had come to be, Ryan noticeably hesitated. Before he could speak, I quickly realized and turned to my best friend. It must have been you, right? I remember the first photo was taken not long after we met, at school. After that day, life gradually returned to normal. The real estate agent quickly found a suitable buyer for my house. But an unexpected situation arose during the viewing. Miss Serena, perhaps you should resolve your personal matters first. This Mr. Miles absolutely refuses to let clients view the house, insisting it's his property. I didn't say much more, just asked the agent to give me 1 day. That same day, I reported it to the police and explained the situation. When I arrived at the house, I saw Miles being escorted out by the police. He looked at me with tearful grievance. Serena, how could you be so heartless? This was supposed to be our marital home, Where will we live if you sell it? Chloe was soon brought out as well. Shortly after, their luggage followed. It's almost laughable, after all these years, the only things that truly belonged to Miles amounted to very little. The rest, clothes, computer, phone, were all bought by me. It was only at this moment that I seemed to realize what role I'd been playing these past 7 years. I don't know where you live, and I've already cleared out all your stuff. Check it yourself again, don't come crying later if something's missing, because I won't take responsibility. My words barely hung in the air. Miles immediately spoke up. You haven't given me back my laptop and phone. I casually handed both items over to a second-hand dealer and sold them on the spot. These were bought by me, how did they become yours? I still have the payment receipts on my phone. What proof do you have that they're yours? His eyes widened instantly. This move was completely beyond his expectations. But I was just giving him a taste of his own medicine. If he hadn't stirred up such a mess online, I wouldn't have gone this far. After Miles and Chloe were kicked out, I immediately called the real estate agent and also contacted a locksmith to change the door lock. The potential tenant was very straightforward. After viewing the apartment, they paid the deposit right away. As I walked out of the neighborhood, I ran into Miles and Chloe looking miserable by the roadside. Chloe was sobbing, asking where they would stay that night. Miles, smoking a cigarette, rushed over as soon as he saw me and grabbed my sleeve. Serena, you can't do this to me. After all these years together, how can you just walk away like this? I gave him a cold look. Your little girlfriend is right here. You'd better stay away from me, who knows what she might stir up again, and then you'll blame me for it. With that, I forcefully shook him off. Miles wasn't ready to give up yet. Just as he was about to chase after me, a motorcycle brushed past him, startling him so badly he fell flat on his butt. Ryan tossed a helmet to me. Finished dealing with that? Let's go then. That evening, Ryan took me to his family's old mansion for dinner. He said his parents wanted to meet me. To be honest, I felt quite nervous. I'd heard aristocratic families had many etiquette rules. He seemed to read my thoughts and suddenly grasped my hand. His warm palm seemed to heat my heart. The entire dinner turned out to be far more relaxed than I'd imagined. His mother appeared quite pleased with me, even my best friend got a little jealous, saying her mom treated me better than her. After dinner, Ryan took me to his room. That's when I noticed the largest poster in the entire room bore some resemblance to me. When I foolishly asked who that person was, Ryan then tossed a stack of photo albums at me. As I opened them, it felt like I was looking back at my own experiences from the past 10 years. The last photo was our group picture at the marriage registration office. So all of these are me? Ryan looked at me helplessly and nodded. Who else could it be if not you? So without my knowledge, he had been secretly in love with me for 10 years. Later, I learned from my best friend's words. That seemingly perfunctory marriage was actually his long-cherished wish, meticulously planned and eagerly awaited.